I definitely get stressed about money on a fairly regular basis. I am 23 years old and I study law and science. Last week my income was $473. That's combined from both the student living costs that I borrow and my income. My rent and bills is $205 in total, and that covers things for my flat like internet, power, like basic flat necessities. So last week I spent $65 on groceries. I'm definitely mindful of checking how much I'm spending as I go. Picking the produce, I tend to look for it to be on special. I mean, broccoli can sometimes be like $3 a head and sometimes it can be like $1.50. And so the $1.50 weeks are the weeks that I buy broccoli. If I need things like sanitary pads or maybe like another moisturizer, then the salmon and the yogurt, those tend to be the first things to go. My first job I got when I was 12 years old, which now sounds like it shouldn't be a thing. My father wasn't employed and I think my mum was only working part-time. If I wanted any sort of toy or luxury item for a 12-year-old, that was going to have to come from my own money. I spent about $62 on buying food and eating out last week. $18 of that was on coffees. I went to a BYO and that was $23. I bought myself like a lunch or a snack twice and that was $21 in total. Last week I spent about $48 on petrol. I tend to drive to uni a bit, but I also bike and so that helps. My gym membership is a weekly $25. My parents don't financially support me in any way. My dad lost his job in the 2008 GFC and didn't re-enter full-time employment until about 5 years later. Money was certainly the source of a lot of like conflict. My parents ended up splitting. It certainly made me understand like the impact money can have within your life. My student loan is currently sitting at about $58,000 to $60,000. In KiwiSaver, I currently have about $10,500. My current check account balance is about $150. In my long-term savings, I have about $6,200. I have a pretty strict rule that money never comes out of that account unless it's an absolute necessity. I still occasionally do support my mum. While I get that money back, I'm always kind of mindful that I want to have like a little bit of extra money sitting around. I spent $406.20 and so I have about $66.80 left for the week. I think with the living costs available, there's not an appreciation that not every student can work while studying, because for instance my ability to work as much as I do hangs on the fact that my lectures are recorded and that I can skip class. I really don't see how a student could, I guess, like happily survive on the current living costs alone. I wouldn't see myself as rich, but I think I'm still aware that I'm in a fortunate position in that I'm able to meet rent on a weekly basis. I'm able to buy the food that I want on a weekly basis, and like I can go out for dinner when I want.